A warm greeting to you all. Today is Saturday, July 18, 2026. This is meteorologist Ruben Garcia. At the time of recording this video, it is 8:30 a.m. local time in the southeastern United States, where they are monitoring the progress of a trough and an area of low pressure located over the Gulf waters, which has a low probability of tropical cyclone development during the next 7 days as it moves near the coasts of Florida, Alabama, Mississippi, and Louisiana. In this video, I will provide an update on the latest tropical outlook from the National Hurricane Center, and I will be analyzing the latest weather model runs to determine the chances of a tropical depression or tropical storm forming. The next name on the list would be Tropical Storm Bertha. Before providing more details about this disturbance, I wanted to mention that the window for development has closed for the tropical wave we were monitoring near the Cabo Verde Islands. As I mentioned in the previous video, dry air, Saharan dust, and strong wind shear were not going to allow this tropical wave to achieve significant development. That is why, starting last night, the National Hurricane Center stopped highlighting the area with development probabilities. In fact, another strong tropical wave is emerging from Africa, but once again, atmospheric conditions across the tropical Atlantic are not favorable for development. Eventually, toward the end of July, this tropical wave will approach the Caribbean Sea, and we will see if it brings some rainfall to help alleviate the drought affecting the region. Now let's return to the Gulf region. In infrared satellite imagery, we can see the cloudiness associated with the low pressure system and trough that we are monitoring west of the Florida Peninsula, which has produced some heavy showers from Tampa to Fort Myers. However, the strongest rainfall activity is currently concentrated over the Gulf waters, and for now, the circulation remains at the upper levels of the atmosphere. In order for a tropical depression to develop, this circulation must move down to the surface. At the moment, that is not happening. One of the obstacles preventing the low pressure system from organizing quickly is that it is currently being affected by wind shear from the north, so any development should be gradual and slow during the next 5 days. That is why the National Hurricane Center is maintaining only a 30% chance of development, but it appears these probabilities could increase over the next few days, as you will see in the next few minutes when we analyze the model projections. I also wanted to mention that sea surface temperatures across much of the Gulf are currently between 30 and 32 degrees Celsius, and this will help the low pressure system maintain thunderstorms and convective activity. Little by little, it could become somewhat better organized, so it is important for residents of the Florida Panhandle, Alabama, Mississippi, Louisiana, and Texas to stay alert to the evolution of this disturbance. Let's take a look at the latest model projections, beginning with the American model in this morning's run. By Monday, it shows the low pressure system becoming better defined as it moves into the Florida Panhandle. However, it does not develop a tropical depression. On the other hand, the European model generally agrees with the same scenario, showing a better defined low pressure system moving into the Florida Panhandle Monday morning without achieving tropical cyclone organization. Now then, why does the National Hurricane Center have a 30% chance of development if some other models do show some degree of organization? For example, the German model, ICON, has a track farther west toward Mississippi and Louisiana, and in this case, it develops a tropical storm moving into the region between Tuesday and Wednesday. We also have some members from different models that show some development. For example, several members of the European ensemble develop a tropical storm, as does the artificial intelligence version, where interestingly, some members maintain a much farther west track. Therefore, we cannot rule out the possibility that the low pressure system could eventually reach parts of Texas or southwestern Louisiana. We also have members of the American model, where only 2 of them develop a tropical depression. However, in the case of Google's artificial intelligence model, between 20 and 30% of its members develop a tropical storm, and notice that some of them have a fairly westward track. Other Google models also indicate the development of a tropical depression or tropical storm, so it is reasonable that we currently have a 30% chance of development, and it is possible that these probabilities will increase later today. Everything will depend on what the midday model runs show. Generally speaking about the impacts during the next 5 days, here is the Doppler radar projection through Monday morning. Overall, most of the showers should remain over the Gulf waters. However, some outer rain bands could affect coastal areas of western Florida and the Florida Panhandle. The American model projects that during the next 5 days, these areas could receive between 1 and 3 inches of rainfall. Of course, in the end, everything will depend on the exact track and how much the low pressure system is able to organize. For now, everything remains calm, and there is no reason for concern. Here at Hurricane Info, I will continue monitoring the situation to keep you informed. I will record the next video tomorrow, in which I will also discuss the tropical activity we have in the Eastern Pacific. Well, I hope everyone has an excellent day, and before I go, if you enjoy this content, I invite you to give the video a like. Also, Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and click the notification bell so you will be notified whenever I upload new videos. Until tomorrow.